You are sitting in the gravel parking lot of a self storage facility with $1 billion and nobody can tell. Not your neighbors, not the guy who cuts your hair, not the cashier who has rung up your groceries every Saturday for 9 years and knows you always buy the same brand of coffee. You are not hiding, you are just ordinary on purpose. While everyone else chases the thing that looks like wealth, you quietly became it. And the strangest part is that the number arrived in a boring email on a Tuesday morning. Subject line, year end summary, final. No exclamation point, no champagne. Just you sitting in that parking lot waiting for a tenant who locked their keys inside Unit 47. This is what $1 billion actually looks like. It starts with a water cooler. Not a revelation, not a business plan, just a Tuesday afternoon in the break room of the warehouse where you used to work. The cooler is empty. The little tab where the jug sits is bone dry. And it has been dry for 3 days, and everyone keeps complaining and nobody does anything. So you ask a question most people never ask. You ask who actually supplies these, not who refills them, who owns the contract. You go home and you find out. It takes about an hour, which is 59 minutes longer than anyone else in that break room would have spent. What you find is a small operator, one guy, a van, and roughly 30 accounts across a few office parks. He charges each account a flat monthly fee, swaps the empty jugs for full ones, and collects a check whether anyone drinks the water or not. 30 accounts. A few $100s each, most of it just sitting there, quiet, recurring, invisible. This is what passive income actually looks like before anyone gives it that name. And the math does something to you. Because the money is not the point yet. What gets you is the shape of it. The fact that the water does not need him. People get thirsty on a schedule. Offices reorder on a schedule. The check comes on a schedule. He built something that runs without him standing over it, and most people walk past that exact thing every single day and only see a water cooler. So you find your own version. You scrape together $4,000 and you buy a tiny route. 6 accounts, one used van with a check engine light that never turns off. The first month, after gas and product and one busted delivery, you net $160. $160, your coworker made more than that picking up a single weekend shift. Your cousin just got a signing bonus that would cover your entire route for 2 years. Nobody congratulates you. Nobody even knows. You sit with that number on a Thursday night and feel something that is not quite pride and not quite disappointment. Something quieter than both. But you do not quit because you are not looking at the $160. You are looking at what the $160 proves. It proves the shape works. It proves that money can arrive without you being there to catch it. So you add accounts. Then you start looking at everything else the same way. Not as a customer, as someone trying to see the ownership layer underneath. And that is when you notice a storage place. You drive past it twice a day and you never thought about it once. A low building, a gravel lot, a row of orange roll-up doors, half of them locked. You stop one afternoon and you do the math on a napkin in the van. 200 units. Average rent around $90 a month. Even at 70% occupancy, that is somewhere north of $12,000 a month coming in. The net operating income on a property like this, after expenses, after insurance, after the occasional broken gate motor, is the number that actually matters. And here is the part that does something to you. Almost nobody ever moves out. People rent a unit to store a couch, a box of photos, a dead relative's furniture they cannot bring themselves to sell, and then they just keep paying. Month after month, year after year. They forget they even have it. You have never seen a business where the customers want to leave and somehow never do. You buy your first facility at 29 years old. It is small, it is half empty, it is in a town nobody drives to on purpose. You pay almost nothing down and use seller financing for the rest. The previous owner carries the note because it is cleaner than a bank and faster than waiting on an SBA loan. The previous owner ran it out of a flip phone and a clipboard, and the books are a mess, but underneath the mess, the cash flow is real. You run the numbers at a 7 cap and they work. The first year, after the loan, after repairs, after the gravel and the broken gate motor, it nets you $31,000. You do not celebrate. You use it as the down payment on the next one. This is the part nobody sees. Not the scaling, not the portfolio, not the slow compounding of 14 years of quiet decisions, just a person doing math at a kitchen table at midnight. Just a Tuesday observation that became a Wednesday question, that became a Thursday purchase, that became something most people do not have a word for yet. The number never mattered. The shape did. Your accountant is named Denise. She has been doing books for small business owners for 22 years. She has seen chaotic partnerships, shoebox receipts, and grown men who could not tell her the difference between revenue and profit. She does not impress easily. She is sitting across from you at a folding table in the back office of one of your storage facilities, and she has just read the summary of everything you currently own, and for a long time she does not say anything at all. Then she looks up and says, "This is the most deliberately boring collection of assets I have ever seen in my life." She means it as a mild criticism. You take it as the highest compliment anyone has ever paid you, because that is exactly what you have been building. Not a brand, not a vision, not a company with a logo and a mission statement and a pitch deck. Just a quiet pile of things that solve dull, permanent human problems and pay you every month whether you are watching or not. Here's what the summary contains: 41 self storage facilities across 9 states. You stop thinking of them as buildings a long time ago. You think of them as a single machine with thousands of small recurring payments flowing through it, and almost nobody ever shutting their account off. Combined, they generate more money in a month than your father earned in his best 10 years combined. It does not feel like that when you walk one of them. It just feels like gravel and orange doors and a tenant who forgot their gate code again. 11 mobile home parks, and here's the thing most people misunderstand about those: you do not own the homes, you own the land underneath them. The people who live there own their houses, but they rent the dirt those houses sit on, and you cannot move a mobile home easily or cheaply, so almost no one ever leaves. The occupancy rate almost never drops below 90% because where else are they going to go? The rent goes up a little every year, and the cash flow is as close to guarantee as anything in real estate gets. Sam Zell built Equity Lifestyle Properties into one of the largest REITs in the country on exactly this model: land lease communities at scale, and most people still have no idea the asset class exists. It is not a glamorous business. It is one of the most stable streams of income in the entire country, and it is invisible because the kind of people who own it on this scale make a point of being invisible. A small chain of self serve car washes. You bought the first one because years ago, on the way home from a networking event, you drove past one that was busy at 9 at night on a Tuesday, and you could not stop thinking about it. No employees most of the time. People feed in their own money. The water and the soap cost almost nothing. The land underneath appreciates while the machines quietly take in quarters. You own 7 of them now. And then there is the waste route. A small regional trash and dumpster hauling operation you bought from a man in his 60s named Earl, who had built it over 30 years and wanted out. 1,200 commercial accounts. Restaurants, strip malls, apartment complexes, the kind of business that loses a client slowly and replaces it slowly and never ever makes headlines because the product is taking away the thing nobody wants to think about. People will always make garbage. That need does not negotiate with a recession. Denise flips through the pages again. She asks if you are planning to pivot into anything more exciting. Tech, maybe. Something with real upside. Something people would actually want to hear about at a dinner party. You tell her no. She nods like she expected that answer and does not fully understand it. What she does not see, what almost nobody sees, is the logic underneath the boredom. Every single thing in that summary has one quality in common: it serves a need that does not go away. Not in a downturn. Not when interest rates spike. Not when some new app disrupts the way people shop or talk or work. People store their things. People need somewhere to live. Cars get dirty. Garbage piles up. There is no software update coming for any of it. There is no competitor who is going to out-innovate a row of orange storage doors. And that is the point. The flashy ones, the people raising money and chasing the next big thing and posting their wins online, they are operating in markets where being interesting is the cost of admission, where the attention is always on you and one bad quarter can erase 3 good years. You are not in those markets. You are deliberately, carefully, almost aggressively not in those markets. You are in the boring markets. The ones nobody is watching. The ones that just keep running, quiet and steady, long after the exciting thing down the street has closed for good. Denise closes the folder and tells you she will have the quarterly numbers ready by Friday. You thank her and you drive home in a 2019 Honda with 94,000 miles on it and a crack in the rear bumper you have been meaning to fix for almost a year. You do not fix it. There is a man at the networking event. You have seen his type before. He is wearing a plain white shirt that costs more than your first water route van. He drives a matte gray SUV with a custom wrap. He talks about his portfolio the way some people talk about their personality, loudly in the general direction of anyone who might be listening. He is performing wealth, carefully, deliberately, at considerable expense. You drove here in the Honda with the cracked bumper. You are wearing a fleece from a sporting goods store that was on sale 2 winters ago. Your watch tells time and does nothing else. When he asks what you do, you tell him you own some small stuff, storage mostly, a few other things. You watch his face do the math in real time. The Honda, the fleece, the storage units. He smiles politely and turns a few degrees towards someone more interesting. In his head, you have already been sorted and filed. comfortable, mid level, probably not worth the full pitch. Good. That small, quiet dismissal is worth more to you than anything else that will happen tonight. Because the moment someone underestimates you, they stop watching you. And the moment they stop watching you, you can do absolutely anything you want. This is the thing people get wrong about quiet wealth. They think it is about being humble. They think it is some kind of moral high ground, the wise, rich person at peace with their money above all the status games. Maybe for some people it is. For you, it is a strategy. The ordinary life is armor, and you put it on every single morning on purpose. The Honda is not a statement, it is a tool. It starts every morning, it eats highway miles without complaint, and it draws exactly zero attention in any parking lot in America. The average new car payment in this country is now well over $700 a month. You paid cash for the Honda years ago, and you have spent nothing on it since except gas and oil. Every dollar that is not going into a car payment is going somewhere that compounds. That is the whole trick. It is not complicated, it is just unpopular. Your house is the same story. A three-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. You paid the mortgage off years ago. The neighbors think you are a small business owner who does fine. They are not wrong. They are just missing several zeros. What you have learned, slowly and then all at once, is that being visible is expensive in ways that have nothing to do with money. The moment people know what you have, they stop relating to you and start relating to what you have. Conversations change. Requests appear. A relative you have not heard from in years suddenly finds a reason to call. Someone at church mentions a business idea they have been working on. A brother in law starts describing a deal that just needs a little money to get off the ground. You have watched wealth change the temperature of a room the second it becomes visible. It is not malicious, most of it is not even conscious. It is just what money does to the space around it when people can see it. So you keep the space clean, the fleece, the Honda, the carefully maintained look of a man who is doing fine and nothing more. It costs you almost nothing, and it buys you something money genuinely cannot. The ability to move through your own life without being seen as a target. Your best friend since you were 19 is named Marcus. He played pickup basketball with you every Sunday for years. He stood next to you at your mother's funeral. He is the kind of friend who calls on a random Wednesday with no reason and no ask, just to check in. You do not have many friendships that feel like that, and you know it. A few months ago, Marcus called on a Wednesday, but this time there was something underneath it. He had been building a small business for 2 years, real customers, a real following, the kind of thing that gets a write-up in the local paper. He wanted to expand. He had found a space, the numbers seemed to work, and he needed $85,000 to make the jump. You could have sent that money before the call ended. You could have sent it from the front seat of the Honda sitting in the parking lot of a storage facility without feeling it, not even slightly. $85,000 against your current net worth is the equivalent of about a week of cash flowing in while you sleep. It is not a sacrifice. It is not even a decision, financially. But you did not send it. You sat with the phone against your ear and you listened, and you felt the full weight of knowing exactly what you could do and choosing not to do it. That particular feeling does not have a clean name. It is not guilt. It is not selfishness. It is something more complicated than either. It is the specific loneliness of understanding a situation more clearly than the person you love who is actually living inside it. Because here is what you have learned, slowly and at real cost. Money handed to someone who is not ready to hold it does not fix the problem. It speeds up whatever is already there. If the operation is loose, the money makes it looser. If the owner does not yet truly understand cash flow, the difference between revenue and margin, the way a lease can quietly strangle a business that looks healthy from the outside, then the money just buys them a faster and more expensive version of a lesson they were going to learn anyway. And then the money is gone. And very often, so is something in the friendship. So instead of sending the money, you asked Marcus if you could come by on Saturday. You sat at his kitchen table with a notepad, and you went through his numbers with him for 3 hours. You found two costs that were quietly bleeding him every month. You asked him about the lease terms on the new space, the rent increases, the personal guarantee. What happens in month 18 if traffic comes in 30% below his best guess? He did not know some of the answers. Not because he was not smart, because nobody had ever sat down and asked the questions with him before. You came back the next Saturday, and the one after that. By the fourth Saturday, Marcus had renegotiated two of his contracts, found a small business loan program he actually qualified for, and restructured his whole expansion so that it did not need outside money at all. He signed the lease 6 weeks later. He called you the night he got the keys, and his voice cracked a little, the way it does when something you worked for finally arrives. He said he could not have done it without you. You never told him what you could have written the check for. You probably never will. That is not modesty. It is just an understanding of what the story needed to be. His story. Built by his decisions. Owned by him in a way that no check from you could ever have made possible. But there are rooms inside your life that nobody gets to walk into, and that is the part that does not get easier. Not the secret itself. You made peace with the secret a long time ago. It is the specific weight of watching someone you love struggle through something you could erase in 60 seconds, and knowing that erasing it would be the wrong thing. Knowing it completely and sitting at a kitchen table with it for 4 Saturdays in a row anyway, the armor works. The ordinary life protects you. The portfolio runs quiet, and the account grows, and nobody watches, and nobody asks. But nobody sees it either. And some nights, that is a different kind of cost entirely. The email arrives on a Tuesday at 7 in the morning. You are sitting in the gravel lot of one of your storage facilities, not because you needed to be, you have people for almost all of this now, but because a tenant locked their keys inside a unit and the manager texted you and you were already nearby, so you stopped. You are holding a cup of gas station coffee in one hand and your phone in the other. That is when the notification comes in. Year-end summary. Final, from Denise. She sends these every year. They are thorough and completely unexciting, formatted in the same plain font she has used for 22 years. You usually read them at your kitchen table on a weekend with coffee. But something in the number at the top stops you. You read the line twice, slowly, the way you read something when you are not sure you are reading it right. Your total verified net worth across all real property, business equity, and holdings has crossed $1 billion. You sit there in the gravel lot. A truck rumbles past on the road behind you. A tenant 2 units down is dragging a mattress out of storage and swearing at it quietly. Nobody is looking at you. Nobody knows. The lot does not know. The mattress does not know. The number exists in an email, on a phone, in a hand attached to a man drinking gas station coffee in the parking lot of a storage facility, waiting for a locksmith. This is the moment. Not a dinner reservation, not a bottle of anything, not a phone call from someone telling you that you made it. Just gravel and morning light and Denise's email and the quiet, steady hum of a life that has not changed because a number changed. You thought it would feel different. You thought there would be something. A shift in the air, the world rearranging itself slightly to acknowledge what just happened. You had pictured this moment the way everyone pictures a milestone, with some kind of ceremony attached to it, a line you could feel yourself cross. There is no line. There is just the gravel and the truck and the man with the mattress and Denise's plain font and the quiet hum of a life built out of 14 years of Tuesday decisions that nobody photographed. You reply with 3 words, thanks, looks right. Then you put the phone in your pocket and you wait for the locksmith because the tenant still cannot get into Unit 47 and $1 billion does not open a padlock. 14 years ago, you netted $160 from 6 water accounts and a van with a check engine light, and you sat with that number on a Thursday night not knowing what to call what you felt. It was not pride and it was not disappointment. This is the same feeling. Exactly the same, just with more zeros behind it. And that is not nothing. It might actually be everything, because it means the feeling was never about the number. It was about the shape. The proof that the thing you built runs the way you built it to run, without drama, without applause, without anyone in a gravel parking lot having the faintest idea. The locksmith pulls in. You finish your coffee. You drive home the same way you came. Same road. Same Honda. Same crack in the bumper you still have not fixed. Nothing about the outside of your life changed in the last 20 minutes. And nothing will change tomorrow either. The facilities will open. Denise will send a follow-up question. Marcus will text you a photo of his first full week of sales. What is different is quieter than any of that. Somewhere this week, you are going to watch a man spend money to look like he has it, and you are going to notice something you could not have put into words 14 years ago. That the performance of wealth and the actual architecture of it are almost never found in the same person at the same time. The knowing does not make Tuesday any easier, but it does make you wonder what you are really building and who you are really building it for.